AIW faithful, this is the strongest man in all the land, Arthur McArthur, wishing you all a very festive and Merry Christmas, and to all a great night.
It's the AIW Holiday Spectacular, presented by the mysterious benefactors, the Goldstein Brothers. Sponsored by Angelo's Pizza of Lakewood, Thrift Store Jobber, Voodoo Monkey Tattoo, Pollyanna DIY, Manscaped, Smart Mark Video, and Independent Wrestling.tv. With appearances by the Bone Collector Dominic Garrini, the Strongman Arthur McArthur, members of 40 Acres, featuring conversations with Swoggle and Colt Cabana. A musical performance by Filthy Tom Lawlor. Appearances by the Rip City Shooters. AIW Tag Team Champions PME, Erick Stevens, and holiday readings by the Duke and the Bitcoin Boiz, and Magnum CK. Now, from the Paul Greer Studios, here are your hosts, AIW owner John Thorne, and your moderator of sorts, Steve Guy.
Hello once again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change, but this is an edition unlike any other. It's the AIW Holiday Spectacular. Our fans asked for it, and so we're giving it to you folks.
A couple of them asked for it.
Some of our wonderful Patreon subscribers and more. My name, of course, is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. As always, owner of AIW, John Thorne is here, as well as Mr. Whiskers chiming in. Why not? It's a holiday special, John. Whiskers needs to be heard.
She needs to be heard. She is just acting a fool right now. Oh, here we are, the Christmas Spectacular. Woohoo!
You fought this with tooth and nail. You did not want this to happen.
But I'm not a big holiday person. But here we are. I guess we'll see. We'll see if the Christmas holiday spirit takes me over. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this thing. I know it is going to be quite the task in the editing room.
It's already been quite the task in the editing.
It has. I know that you said the Paul Greer Studios. However, the Goldstein Mysterious Benefactors, they're trying to take that lease over. They've really been trying to negotiate getting their name on the marquee. Got a down payment. Have not received first and last month, though. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Sam, you have your people. Get a hold of my people. But as of now, Paul Greer, his name is still on the marquee here. And the neon lights behind us. Here we are, Steve. The Holiday Spectacular. I didn't even know what we were going to call this. I conducted a couple interviews that we'll get to throughout this episode, and you could tell my confusion and my lack of excitement for the holidays as I try to take on your job of being the moderator or the interviewer, and it is just so awkward. But I did it, and we've. I've never had so many notes in front of me for an AIW podcast ever in my entire life. We just had to have a production meeting before we started recording this about where we're going to insert all these special things that we've come up with. I hope you guys enjoy it. I don't know. This is probably going to give you something to do. I don't know what you guys are doing as far as if you're getting together with your family for Christmas or if you're laying low because of the COVID-19 stuff. It's a weird year. So that was really a contributing factor on why I gave in to doing this. We figured people were going to need some entertainment, a way to pass the time. And this one is probably going to clock in well over the regular AIW podcast time.
Yeah, it's there have been many times where I have notes going into an AIW podcast recording session. I know that's what I'm here for, and I know you may be listening, and you may have thought when John Thorne was talking, well, why didn't you just have Steve Guy jump in on those interviews? Because, people, Steve Guy was busy assembling all these other pieces to the Holiday Spectacular so that you can be just thrilled and
there's a lot of moving parts in this podcast, and
overjoyed.
I don't know if people are going to like it or hate it or be confused by it, but I will tell you this. If you do like it, don't expect this podcast to be like this again anytime soon, because this has been so much work. When you mix in, a guy like me who likes to start his Christmas shopping the week of Christmas, and now, this is primetime shopping, December 23rd for me as we record our final portions of this podcast today. It's added some additional stress to the holiday season for me, which is, it's stressful enough for everybody, I'm sure.
There are, just to give you behind the scenes, there are moving parts to this that were unable to be done in time, and I won't tell you what they were, folks, because you'll just be disappointed and clamor for another holiday spectacular down the road. And I'm with John. I don't know, man. This is a lot of work.
And I will say this, I'm going to get this out of the way. This is the last AIW podcast for the year 2020. We are taking next week off because of what we had to go through this week. These past couple weeks, actually. We've been working on this for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We're going to close the year out with this podcast. That's why it's going to be a little longer. And, I hope you enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a little festive as this goes on here. But Steve, this is your baby. To be perfectly honest, you are you're one of those holiday. I don't know what to even call it, but you're one of those holiday people.
I don't know about that. I mean, I just do a lot of things for the holidays due to having multiple families to have to go and visit with. So that's always the thing.
What's your tradition here? What are your traditions?
I can tell you, my main tradition is driving around, which I don't have to do this year, which I love. Being a product of divorced parents who both remarried.
Are you laying low, or is the family deciding to lay low this year, or?
So my mom.
Because I'll get into that, because that is a debate in my family.
We're not doing big family gatherings with aunts, uncles, and cousins. None of that's happening. My mom decided to bail and leave town. She left today, and she headed down to Cincinnati to see my older brother, who has not been up for the holidays in years. So she's down there visiting with him, his wife, and kids. And that means that I don't have to travel to multiple houses. Typically, the way my holiday works is Christmas Eve, I drive from Lakewood and go to Twinsburg. From Twinsburg, I go to somewhere in Aurora, which isn't too far, but it's kind of like 20 minutes because of where it is. From Aurora, I drive all the way out, basically the Amish country in Geauga County, because that's where my mom lives. And I'll spend the night there, open up gifts. The next day, drive to frickin' Cleveland Heights. From Cleveland Heights, I drive to Sagamore Hills, back to Twinsburg, and then eventually back to beautiful Lakewood, Ohio. It's a lot of driving around.
Yeah, that's a lot. See, I don't know. I've never had to do anything like that. Typically, it's the same every year. It's my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve. Come one, come all sort of thing. And, there would be, varying crowds throughout the years. Like, sometimes it's when I was, in my later teenage years, early 20s, like it would be a lot of my friends, wrestling people. And then like my uncle's friends would come from their high school or whatever. And it's always been my grandma's house on Christmas Eve. When I was younger, we would then do Christmas Day at my great-grandmother's house, who recently died last year. She was 106 years old, which is insane. But that tradition kind of went away, I don't know, when I was like 10 or 11, because I don't even know how old she was at that point, but she was pretty old. She had to have been in her 80s at that point. And then, so it's pretty much Christmas Eve for me. And then, when I was a kid, you do the Christmas morning with the parents and stuff like that. But not Christmas Day is pretty relaxed. That's why I was kind of like, before COVID happened, there was a big push about AIW possibly running Christmas night because it is on a Friday this year. And it was met with a lot of pushback from people like Pedro and some others.
I couldn't do it. I know that.
But I was really, I was like, there's not a lot to do on Christmas night, and I wanted to do Christmas night and or New Year's Day this year, but I was talked out of it. But yeah, I don't really do too much on Christmas Day. It's really Christmas Eve at the grandmother's house, which my grandmother is 83 years old. She has some mild lung cancer right now and is developing some sort of dementia. So she forgets every time we say, hey, maybe Christmas Eve is not a good idea this year. Like she is like, what do you mean? Like, no, like, and she's fully aware of COVID and everything else. And she's with it on all the long-term stuff, but she's like one of those people that is really scared of COVID, except for when it comes to the family. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, yeah, but like it's just us. It was a whole big argument on Thanksgiving, and now it is the same argument for Christmas. So I've been kind of trying to encourage people to not come, like unless it's like super necessary, like immediate family sort of thing. But I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. It is, it's going to be strange. It's going to be strange, but I am looking forward to, just getting it over with. I have some, my aunt is in town and my little cousins, and it's kind of weird not to make it grim, but like a lot of people have died in our family in the last 5 years, so it's like a very weird gathering now, because it is kind of like who's left sort of thing, and sure. It's kind of sometimes it's good, sometimes it's awkward and sad. So I don't know what I'm walking into tomorrow. Hence why I'm not much of a big holiday person probably, but for all of the fans of AIW, here we are with the holiday special.
Here we are, yeah.
We have a lot lined up.
With so much lined up. AIW has a weird holiday history, as it were. If you ever listened to our previous podcast, especially with Chandler, we detailed it was the Nightmare Before Christmas, right, John?
That's it was initially a Gauntlet for the Gold, which it turns into the Nightmare Before Christmas because of how the show goes down. And very infamous Chandler Biggins podcast from the first 30 or so episodes. That is one of the craziest days ever in AIW history. And we always ran around December because my birthday is December 20th. So I would always try... Here's the promoter business, whatever, try to make AIW surviveness out of, in my brain is I would always do a show around my birthday because then I would invite all my friends to the show as my birthday party. Therefore, I would sell tickets, It's a great idea. I would sell tickets to my friends. And that's like the idea of why because a lot of promotions will take off in December, or they'll try to run very early December to avoid the holidays. But my birthday is December 20th, so we always tried to run sometime in mid to later December, just based on at that time frame, like my friends were what was keeping AIW afloat. So I would always do a show around my birthday. All my friends would come. And, on this very night, it was unfortunate that my friends came because they started a riot. But hey, we got those ticket sales. Everyone got paid that night.
And we got a classic podcast out of it with Chandler talking about PP dance, which will forever go down in the lore of
Don't say
Chandler
don't,
Biggins quotables.
don't say his name. He listens and he's very upset.
I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do that.
He's an avid listener, I found out, and he's very, very upset. Sometimes at 9:00 in the morning, he goes back and re-listens to that episode and then yells at me.
Crowds have been okay though. In recent, it's already been 2 years. It was in December. We had the show at Ohio Nets as it was at the time, and we brought in Tanaka. That was huge.
Yeah, now it's I'm pretty sure it's like a Sunnyside Toyota collision center or something.
Yeah. But we had a great crowd for that, and that was a massive turnout.
So what I've noticed, just doing AIW for so long, kind of like I guess the social patterns of people or something has changed, and to where it's just indie wrestling in general. More people are supporting it, but like those early days, it was very hard to get people out. Now, like the December show has become one of our most kind of highly attended. People look forward to it, especially people from out of town and different things like. So I've seen the change to where, Black Friday and December have kind of really. They've really become, pillars in the AIW schedule, and we've also, we also moved the show past like after Christmas, in recent years. So I think that has helped. It's gotten a little further away from my birthday, and it's become a more like in between that Christmas, New Year's. If we can fall somewhere right in there, it seems to work very well. Which is the last few years, it's been that way.
Yeah, people are in maybe from out of town that have left and they're back visiting family. They're here for a while. They pop in for the show, or people out of town have time off from work. They're able to come in and check out the show and not worry about getting back to anywhere. Obviously, especially with weekends. But let me ask you this, John Thorne. You're a guy notorious for not having a lot of favorites when it comes to food. You got anything in particular that John Thorne actually eats during the holidays that's like tradition outside of chicken fingers and mashed potatoes and gravy?
Oh yeah. So my grandmother is Irish, but my grandfather was Italian. So it's a very Italian Christmas Eve at my grandmother's house. She stuck to those traditions long, like that started probably long before I was born, and she continues to do them. So it's always a baked rigatoni on Christmas Eve with some brujoles. That's a very exotic thing for John Thorne to eat, which is like, it's like this thin meat that is like wrapped up with toothpicks, and it's cooked in the spaghetti sauce. It's very good. But that's really the big tradition. And then, my family always gets this bakery pizza from a place called Mazzone's, depending on who you ask, how it's said, I don't know, but it's over like in the Clark Fulton area. It's like this pizza that is served cold. Highly recommend it. That is a John Thorne Christmas Eve tradition, is eating this weird cold bakery pizza and some baked rigatoni and some brujoles. That's my go-to. I don't get crazy with the desserts or anything like that. Maybe if there's a chocolate chip cookie around, I'll have one. But that's pretty much it for me. And a cocktail or two, I'm sure.
Yeah, there you go. So everybody's kind of got their different things. My stepmom's family is Italian, so we always get like lasagna and stuff. That's always happening on Christmas. On Christmas Eve with my dad's family, my aunt makes like cheesy potatoes and then they're like topped with like cornflakes. You ever had this? It's like it's like a casserole almost. It's like it's the potatoes are chopped up. You got cheese mixed in there, and
maybe this is why my sister's been texting me, would you eat cheesy potatoes all week? Maybe she got this recipe off the internet.
They're amazing, and my aunt would make them, and then it's so funny that one year she made extra so that I could personally have leftovers, but this was unbeknownst to other people, and one of my other aunts, she liked it a lot, and she took the leftovers home, so I was pissed. And so now this aunt that makes them, she cooks off, like she makes me a special small batch so that I have my own. I can take it home. I have it for the week. I'm very spoiled in that. And then Christmas Day at my mom's family with like aunts, uncles, and cousins, it's very simple because we get together at like 10 in the morning. We eat lunch at 11, and some people will laugh at it, but we just do like deli trays. Like we have sandwiches and stuff and snacks. It's very simple and easy, but it's
Deli trays like my nightmare.
It's fantastic. I love it. And
I'm like, whenever I go somewhere and there's a deli tray, I'm pissed. I'm like, who the fuck wants this? Nobody wants a deli tray.
I do. At like 11 o'clock in the morning, I do.
I don't
because
want
anything
a fucking
else,
deli tray. That's like a work thing. Like, hey, I brought in the deli tray. I don't want any fucking cold meats.
Oh, I love it. I
hate it.
And my mom makes a taco.
It's like fucking,
dip.
also, but while I'm thinking of it, fuck Jimmy John's too. Get a fucking oven. Like, what a stupid place.
My mom makes like a 4 or 5 layer taco dip. And she brings that in this pan, and we all just smash it. We sit around like all the cousins, and we'll go through like 2 trays of this shit, man, and scoop that up. That's probably a little too exotic for you, though, the taco dip, I think.
Yeah, fuck
there's
that.
like
No,
a layer of like sour cream cheese mix, some taco sauce. I love it. I get my own thing of that, too. A lot of variety of foods for Steve Guy during the holidays. But
yeah, there's a lot of like desserts and
exotic for you.
There's a lot of desserts and weird things at my grandmother's house. I'm the only one in the whole family that doesn't touch any of that stuff. So there'll be all sorts of, weird cakes and cookies and different things that, I don't fucking know what they are, and I don't touch them. I stick to the most basic of offerings.
Well, it's good that you mention cookies and snacks and things because, as many people know, a guy that was a regular in AIW when he came back to wrestling for about a year or so and has since retired again, Erick Stevens, known as the Family Food Dude, and makes all sorts of cookies. He chimed in for this holiday spectacular and gave us one of his favorite holiday snack recipes that anybody can make. And from that, we go to Erick Stevens, and then
we're going to go right into my little interview with everyone's
Swoggle.
favorite little elf, Hornswoggle.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from your friendly neighborhood family food dude, also known in a previous life as Erick Stevens. I'm here to share with you one of my favorite holiday recipes. Try not to laugh. I know it's a little ironic coming from a Floridian, but it is called white trash. How do you make white trash? This is how you make white trash. You take Chex cereal, you pour a bunch of melted white chocolate on it, you add in some pretzels, and then once it's all dried and nice and delicious, you add M&Ms. So you got white chocolate covered pretzels, Chex Mix, and M&Ms all in the same package. It's fantastic. And many Christmases I have passed out drunkenly with a handful of it near my mouth. So give it a shot. It's really easy to make. I don't know if there's a more appropriate name for it, but look, if you make it in Florida, it's called white trash. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Now joining us on the big AIW, the card is going to change holiday extravaganza special. I don't even know if we have an official title for it. Is the most famous person I probably know, the Six Mania man, as it says on his screen, Dylan Swoggle Postl.
I went from tribute to the troops to this.
Were you on the most recent tribute for the troops?
No, I went from just performing at naval bases and Air Force bases and Army bases to talking to you with your guilty as charged ECW shirt in the background.
Fonzie sent me that. That's a original. That shirt's probably worth $1,000 on one of these Instagram bootleggers. It's a gift. Speaking of the holidays, that is a gift that I received from William Alfonso. But
this time of year sucks. Like it's the best as a parent. It is the best as a parent, as you would know.
Parent.
But it also sucks. Because, John, I buy too many things. I just texted our friend Ethan about this. I buy too much.
Well, this is why I wanted to have you on, because I am, shocking to everybody. I'm not that big of a holiday guy.
Why? Why? Because it's a happy time of the year and you don't like to be happy?
I prefer probably to be miserable most of the time. It just helps.
And now I bought this goddamn wrapping paper in a Target 4-pack, and let me tell you this. Let me. This is a rift here. If you wrap anything in glitter or have glitter on anything, cards, greeting cards, this wrapping paper has glitter all over it, and now it's getting all over my kitchen. I hate glitter. Glitter is useless.
It's going to be all over you for days.
I'm going to look like I went to the tit joint.
Well, I mean, speaking of Christmas, those girls need money too. But what better for you to be doing on the holiday special than you are actually? I am watching you wrap Christmas presents right now.
Yeah, I'm wrapping not AIW figures. They're not. They don't have those. AEW figures. I'm wrapping Nike sweatshirts. I'm wrapping an Avengers Xbox game. I just got done wrapping a Nerf gun. He has, I think I counted 16 presents. 16.
Just from you.
Well, Santa, John.
Santa. Is he still in on Santa?
We don't talk about that, John. Just because if there's any reason that he listens to this and he still believes, Santa's still getting them things.
Really?
Yeah, and they show up at my house early.
You don't think somebody on the bus stooged it off to him yet?
No one stooged it off. He doesn't take the bus because the kids aren't at goddamn school yet.
Oh, homeschool.
They went for 3 weeks, and now they're not fucking going again. But they're supposed to return January 11th.
That's probably messing up your afternoon dates with the gals, huh?
No. You know what it's messing up? You'll love this. You know what I've done twice since August, John?
Played cards with your old friends at the bar?
I've only gotten 2 games of gin in since August.
I thought you were a bridge or a pinochle guy.
No, it's gin. We played gin. Last week, I won $200. Then I put it right back in the slot machines that night. But
you haven't figured out like a virtual remote digital card way to play cards?
John, the youngest man I play with is 71.
You're the oldest young guy I know.
Yeah, it's to Landon from Santa.
Santa Swoggle. Santa Swoggle's here.
Hey, back in my time working for Vince Jr., this is something that I'm sure all of your guests talk about working for Vince Jr. during the holidays. We would always have Christmas off. I know a couple of years ago they actually had to work on Christmas, which was nuts. But we would always have Christmas off, but we would always fly out the morning after because it was the holiday loop, which was the best loop ever.
They always did MSG, right? Or right after the holidays, or New York City, right?
Usually MSG was part of it with one, but there was always 2 loops going on. There was always
yep.
Always 2 loops, and sometimes 3. There was a couple of years where there were 3 loops, and I always was kind of like, well, why? It's kind of, aren't people celebrating? No, that's the best Christmas present ever. In your stocking is WWE tickets. Like, it makes the most sense in that case. But it was always, and shows were sold out. I was on the top of the card always. Sold out shows.
So that's what I was going to ask you, because this has to be a little different for you this year, because pretty much your son's entire life you have been on the road in some capacity.
Yeah, this year he's like almost, when are you leaving next? And not in a bad way, but it's like he's just not used to this. He loves it because he loves Dad being home, but it's just different for him for sure.
But is it weird for you?
Oh yeah, this year has been real weird. I've kept busy. Like, thankfully, I've kept busy more than I thought I would, and more than a lot of people. I will say. I have one more show this year, but that's it. That's and then I have January is awful. January, I think I have 3 all month. It's just
I do think we are heading downhill in this whole thing, and things are going to be getting back to normal. But
do you think they get a little worse before? I think it's going to be I don't think it'll be a slow back to normal. I think it's going to be a holy shit, everyone's running 90 shows a weekend. But I think for some reason, I think there's going to be a one more low point.
I think there's going to
be... See, hold on. This is why I don't wrap things.
You're in out of
because
paper.
I cut the paper too goddamn small. This pisses me off. This is why I bring things to my father's house to wrap for me, because I'm not an adult. I don't.
Well, I'm going to circle back to this wrapping thing, but I want to get this thought out.
Yeah, let's talk about this actual.
I think that it's going to be a slow burn. Like I think there will be a lot of people that try to run shows, but I think as far as fan support, it is going to be a slow trickle. You know, just because there's going to be a bunch of shows, I don't think that people are going to be rushing to the doors to buy the tickets.
Wrestling fans don't believe in things.
You are very inactive on Twitter, I know, so you are missing out on a lot of the people caring about.
Oh, shucks! I'm missing out on that. Come on.
But I think it'll be a lot of shows, like you said, but I think the support will be a little harder to get out there and make them go, and I think maybe we'll see some people ease back the throttle on their schedule as far as their promotion goes. And, we'll see, we're going to see. It's really going to depend on if, where you're from, Wisconsin, I'm sure they don't think that COVID's real.
I mean, it's definitely real, but we're doing everything we can to keep everyone protected.
But, I think that, other more highly populated places are going to be a lot more hesitant, and there's still going to be a lot of red tape and all that stuff. But
it's just such a weird time because no one knows. Like no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
It's a guessing game, and you can watch 10 different news stories, and
I give up. I've given up now, like for months. The only news I watch is at the gym in the mornings, and then it's. But then, the first vaccines came out today.
Right.
But yet, a week ago they said they wouldn't be coming out till January or February. Like that's what you never know. Things are different tomorrow. Things will be different tomorrow. Things will be way different by next week. It's just a very literally a minute by minute time
and
frame.
And I think it's just going to be a waiting game. But what I wanted to talk to you about is because. Well, there's a couple things, and we've already rattled off 9 minutes somehow. Oh,
I'm sorry. Does Frankie Flynn have to get his interview in, or Dr. Dan DCR have to talk about him fixing cars or something during this crazy time?
I'm dedicating this time to you, brother. A couple things. One, I was shocked to see you wrapping your own Christmas presents because you definitely struck me as a have them done at the mall type of person, or have somebody else do it.
I'm cheap as fuck. You know that. I don't.
Yeah, you're a swindler. So I figured you said,
"Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, babe. I'll give you a couple 8x10s. Wrap these up for me. Put them in the car."
I will fully admit this. I've asked 2 of my nice girlfriends, if they would wrap things for me.
I don't know how to wrap.
So my dad made me when I was a kid, my dad, because I rushed through it and I'm awful at it, my dad would make me rewrap stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how to
do
wrap.
It well. So I'm okay at it, but I just get frustrated and pissed off.
I have 2 options. It's hey gal, can you wrap this for me? Or hey, what size bags do you have for sale? In the Christmas wrapping section.
I never buy bags because. Let me tell you this again. Gift wrap this is going to be a worldwide thing. Gift wrap is the biggest just money pit. You're literally buying something to throw it away.
But see, and this is why I go with the bag thing, because my grandmother, who
Reuse them?
she will then keep every bag that is left at her house on Christmas Eve, and then she's got bags that she's been using since 1972 that they just circle back around through the family.
I'm gonna throw this goddamn gift wrap out. This glitter is everywhere. This is gone. Done. Done. I'm fucking sick of it. There's glitter all over my. How am I supposed to eat my filet mignon at my mansion with glitter on my table?
So give me a couple tips on wrapping. What's the tricks? You're just rubbing glitter all over your bag.
I wish you could see this. There's glitter all over my belly, but there's glitter just popping off. Oh, this is the worst.
For the people that do not have the visual aid that I have, Swoggle is shirtless, rubbing glitter all over his chest. And
I'm trying to rub it off of my chest, and it's getting all over onto my nice jeans, my buckle jeans, $120 buckle jeans, and just all over.
You would have buckle jeans. Can we talk about your affliction phase that you went through?
I did go through an affliction phase.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Swoggle. Affliction Swoggle.
There's a lot of good affliction Swoggle pictures out there too.
So give me your tips on how to gift wrap something. Give me your how-to.
Hopefully you have two of the same item, or the same like box item. Like I have 97 figures for my son, so I will find out how much it takes for one. I will use half the wrapping paper because I also have little arms, so I can't cut across the whole wrapping paper. Sucks big time. So it's always like just jagged edges, like the mid 2000s boy band.
Jagged edge.
But you find two things and you split it in half then, so now you know exactly how much gift wrap you need. Also, I count the squares of gift wrap because I don't want to use too much. That's how
such a cheap fucker.
I will literally go, okay, this covers half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I know I need to go 6 this way. I will measure this way. Yeah, man. But I'll buy.
Well, I'll take it back. You're a cheap fucker with this, but then when you're out at the bar or visit.
Oh, you mean when you Are we circling back to when you bullied me into a $2,300 tab?
No, we're not exposing that. I mean, that's pre-pandemic. That's like, in the Bible, like AD, BC, whatever, AD. We don't talk about anything that happened.
We don't talk about the time you bullied me into a $2,600 tab.
Oh, I didn't bully you. Somebody was really flaunting the ACW Wisconsin company card.
No, sir.
But what I wanted to ask is, did WWE ever do special things for you guys around the holidays? I mean, I think people would probably
get a gift. Like, I remember one of my last years, we got like an Apple gift card or like a Amazon thing or something. But otherwise, we get a card from the office, which I always thought was cool. Like,
signed by Vince. Did Vince sign everyone personally?
No, this is talent relations and
Mark Carano.
Carano, Laurinaitis, and the travel department. Like,
okay.
But it still was cool to me because it was like, hey, they're signing each one of these, and like mine had like it would be to Dylan, like, hey, Merry Christmas, Dylan, and Landon, kind of stuff like that. So
like
that
personal,
was always yeah. And whether they knocked it out in 3 seconds, it still was
no company Christmas party or anything like that.
So that is something that we always like kind of brought up, like, why don't?
Because they go big for the WrestleMania party.
Huge for the WrestleMania party. But we always thought, like, what if they took the money for the drug fines, the drug testing fines, and put it towards like a company party?
Yeah.
Because where does the money for the drug testing fines go?
It's like at my job, they say if you want to wear jeans on Friday, you got to pay $2, and then at the end of the year, they try to spend it on pizza or something. Like, hey, we got everybody a sheet pizza for I don't pay, just for those listening. I just
do you wear jeans anyways?
Yeah.
But no, it's something I always thought about. Like, it would be cool if they did that. But then where do you have it? Like, do you have it the night after that last TV? You know what I mean?
I mean, it would make perfect sense to like on that loop. You know what I mean? When you guys come back from Christmas, to do it there.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be, but it's just, I know the employees get a bonus. I always heard, but the talent never did.
Well, I guess we'll wrap up this segment of the holiday special with this question.
This will be good.
Heart of the matter. Holiday present for all those people out there listening. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all of the holidays. The people want to know, and they want a present from Swoggle. What was your payoff from Tony Khan for your appearance on AEW Dynamite?
I sold the diaper for $55.
To who?
I sold the diaper for $55.
Did you sign it?
I did.
And that's all you're giving up, huh?
I sold the diaper for $55 signed.
Was your payoff from AEW greater or less
than $55?
than $55? Yes.
It was great. It was greater.
Was it greater or lower than a WrestleMania payoff?
Then what?
A WrestleMania payoff.
No, lower. I was on AEW for 8 seconds.
You thought about it though. For the people at home, he thought about it. So that to me tells me he got a significant financial check.
It was a very good check especially for how long I was there. I was in Las Vegas for less than 12 hours.
You have a little bit of the bubbly with La Champion.
No, I had one cocktail at a slot machine where I put $50 into it and lost. I got berated by you for not going out and partying and staying the night in Vegas instead of getting home to my son and being a great father. I should have, in your mind, I should have blown my son, kicked my son to the curb for the night and partied with
You were in
Chris
Las
Jericho.
Vegas.
Yeah, I'm a 34-year-old man.
That's like I'm saying. You're the oldest young guy I know.
I know. But then until after the shows, and then I become a 20-year-old, 34-year-old.
This is what I want. First show back, first Swoggle booking back in the
I know what's going to
territory.
happen. I'm not allowing it.
This is what I want. I want full Affliction Swoggle to show up. I want the buckle jeans. I want some nice like boots, or some kind of fancy.
I never owned nice shoes.
Some kind of fancy footwear, and I want an Affliction shirt, and maybe a little jewelry. You got any jewelry?
I did. Back then, I had a ring.
You look like a silver bracelet guy.
No, it was a black metal bracelet with silver crosses on it. And I had a
really fucking Batistaed out.
I had a cross pendant necklace at all times, and also a ring that said something on the ring. But
I want this whole thing. 2021. I want this whole thing.
It's not going to happen. I'm not. No.
Imagine the meet and greet from the AIW fans if they could just do photos with Affliction Swoggle. I mean, that's just money in the bank.
If we get a pre-order of enough to cover the stuff for the outfit, if we get a pre-order enough to cover the outfit, I will do Affliction Swoggle.
Just get in your closet, brother.
First off, that was 2009-8 Swoggle, where I was about 50 pounds lighter than I am now. Secondly, that's what would never fit. Secondly, I don't want to be caught dead in that. And third, all of that jewelry is left at bars across the country.
World, probably, right?
Yeah, good chance.
All right, so that'll wrap it up. And then perhaps we're going to record something for Patreon here in a second. This went 15 minutes over my time, but I think it was well worth it. So on
Steve Guy will yell about this. Yeah, we're gonna have to cut some of it. We need time for or just the 2020 look back at Eddie Kingston and AEW.
On to the next segment. I hope you guys are enjoying the AIW The Card is Going to Change holiday special.
Hello, AIW world. This is the Bone Collector, the Italian-American Dragon, Dominic Garrini, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays. We here at the Garrini household just finished with the 7 Italian fishes of Christmas. And let me tell you, am I ready for AIW to return so I can stretch some fools out? But in the meantime, watch it on IWTV. Subscribe to the Patreon. Get in that Discord. Let's chat it up. And everybody have a Merry Christmas.
All right, so we got to hear from Erick Stevens, we heard from Swoggle, and then we just heard from the Bone Collector, Dominic Garrini. Speaking of Italian holiday traditions.
The fish collector.
Fish is way too exotic for you.
No, I would never eat that. The only fish I eat is a fish stick.
They have multiple fish dishes at the Garrini household, as he was explaining there. I don't think I've ever had fish on Christmas, but hey,
no, sir.
the fish collector. It's too bad we don't have a December show this year. That'd be great. Just switch it up and call Dom the fish collector coming out to the ring instead. What about movies though, John Thorne? You're a bit of a Grinch during the holiday season. You like the Grinch, or that's not your thing?
I don't know. I don't know. Like if you want to go holiday movies, I think you got to go Home Alone #1.
Yeah, sure, that's good.
I mean, I don't think that there's a better holiday movie, and I don't know if it's because it's from my childhood or whatever, but I'm putting Home Alone #1. Wet Bandits, and I'm putting Home Alone over Home Alone Part 2 because.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I told this story on a podcast before, but I got a little vendetta against Home Alone 2. Asked for a talk boy that year. Because of the trailers playing on TV, and I got a talk boy. However, it was a Power Rangers licensed talk boy, and I thought that I was way too old for Power Rangers. I thought the Power Rangers were for kids, and I was 9. I don't know how old I was at that time, but I threw it down on the ground and I said, "This is the one I asked for. I wanted the talk boy. I didn't want this Power Rangers toy," and I was very upset about that. So that's why I still hold a grudge against Home Alone 2, but. Christmas Vacation, obviously.
Oh yeah. What about Jingle All the Way?
It's okay. I mean, I think it's a little overhyped. I think people really overhype it around this time, but they overhype everything around Christmas time.
Oh sure.
Gremlins is a great Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Not a lot of good horror Christmas movies. I mean, there's Silent Night, Deadly Night, but that's a fucking weird movie. I don't even know if I would recommend watching that.
What about is it Krampus?
Oh, Krampus, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that. I saw that in the movie theater with Nick Sanka, I think. He was like, "Let's go see this movie." I had no fucking idea what it was. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just one of but I'll watch it if I come across it.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one. I mean, Christmas Vacation. Yeah, that's a classic. And being from Cleveland, of course, we have A Christmas Story that
I fucking hate loves. It. I hate A Christmas Story. I hate it.
Is it because it's on 24/7? Does it drive you nuts?
I don't know. Like, I think it was like one of those movies that even before it was on 24/7, like your parents or family members would be like, "Oh, what? It's Cleveland, you got to watch it." And like I'd watch it and I'd be like, "This movie fucking sucks. I don't care. I don't care about this." Like, I just never liked it or anything about it. And, they'll be like, "Oh, that's the old Higbee's building," or whatever. It's like a fucking, you put it on to see shit that you could drive down the street and see. And I just never got into it as a kid, it would be like, if it was on at a family gathering, like it would just be like, "Oh, that's where the whatever happened," or "That's right over, over there in Tremont," or, "That's downtown. That's where Tower City is now," or what, just, I don't know. I never got into it. I fucking hate it. I think it's in watching it, as an adult, I still don't like it. Maybe that's blasphemous to say, being from Cleveland, but I am not a Christmas Story guy.
How about I enjoy Elf. Do you like Elf with Will Ferrell?
I can get into some Elf, I guess. I mean, I'll watch it. I think, it's a little. That's one that, like, any girl that you've ever dated that's like their Christmas movie. So
That's
it's just
true.
like,
yeah, they all love that.
if you like any girl like under 32 years old will just quote that movie nonstop the entire month of November, December, and January. So, I mean, it's okay. I don't know. Home Alone's my go-to one.
I will watch It's a Wonderful Life. That's very old. I enjoy that, and like Miracle on 34th Street.
I don't even go down that. I don't even go down that realm.
I'll give you one. Are you gonna say? You might say what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say The Ref. with Dennis Leary.
That all right? That is good. I was gonna say Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Scrooged is good. Oh yeah, I like Scrooged. Like what is it? IBM video or whatever. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Scrooge is good. I like Scrooge, but I try to watch The Ref every year because like my mom loved that movie for whatever reason because they were doing all this weird. That's a weird kind of offshoot Christmas movie, but it does take place around Christmas time. So I always try to watch The Ref around the month of December with Dennis Leary. Very underrated.
There are so many Christmas movies anymore. I've realized as people have these debates and things that they list.
There's very few though. Like okay, like I'm not counting one movie that's on the Hallmark Channel. You know what I mean, or whatever the fuck they make. Or the Lifetime Christmas, whatever the fuck, like. Or they just make like 30 Christmas movies in 30 days. Like I'm not doing any of that.
Just for us growing up, like you had the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. They made 3 of those for crying out loud.
That's crazy.
Vince Vaughn is in.
Fred Claus. That's an underrated one. Fred Claus is okay.
Underrated.
And Four Christmases.
And Four Christmases. Yeah, he's in with Reese Witherspoon. And man, there was something else I was thinking about. I can't remember now, but there's a lot of things like that we forget about out there. But then there's the movies that kind of happen around Christmas, like was it
Chandler Biggins' favorite? You got to shout it out. Reindeer Games. That's his favorite Christmas movie. Pow Wow safe.
You got the chick flicks like Best Friends with the.
I don't know that one.
It's Ryan Reynolds. And it's like he goes, chick flick. He goes home for Christmas. That's it. The Holiday is another chick flick one. It's Cameron Diaz is in it, and Jack Black and Jude Law and whatever. There's so many of them. What's the other Tim Allen one? Oh, Christmas with the Cranks. You ever seen that?
Oh yeah, it's okay. It's not the best.
I don't know if I've watched that one, but.
I just read this list that says Jaws: The Revenge is a Christmas movie. Jaws 4. I don't know. I mean, that happens in like Jamaica or something. I don't know if I'm buying that one.
Hook is technically a Christmas movie.
I saw that. I don't know. I mean, I guess, but
because it happened. They go across. They go to England during Christmas time, but it's not. Yeah, I don't consider it a Christmas movie. But that's what I mean. All that stuff gets.
Black Christmas. I mean, that's another horror one. I don't know.
Did you ever see the Christmas Office Party?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I don't mind that one. Or the Night Before, I think it is, with Seth Rogen.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
You ever see that one?
Yeah.
Or The Night Of. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called.
It's like Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, it's. Yep, yeah. And the guy that's Papa Doc from 8 Mile.
Oh, yeah. He's in Captain America. Anthony Mackie. There we go.
Yeah,
that's his name.
Saw that guy at Town Hall once.
I bet. Yeah, when they were shooting Captain America here.
He was just there in the afternoon. I was like, that's Papa Doc from 8 Mile. I didn't know anything about the Avengers.
They were in there. But that's what I'm saying. So many movies. And then you have the classics that everybody likes to argue about whether they are Christmas movies or not, including that takes us to our next fun holiday segment for you that we roll into here. Of course, everyone talks about, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? And I don't think we need to.
I think it is.
You think it is?
Like, that's really the only time of the year that I watch it.
It does.
You know, I'll make.
It does give you the holiday spirit vibe with good triumphing, right?
Triumphing? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Triumph?
Triumphing. Yeah, triumphing is, yeah, triumphing over, yeah, that's a word, right? I'm pretty sure. Probably.
We failed to mention, though, before you get into
really.
it, you know, you gotta give a shout out to the Hanukkah movies too, 8 Crazy Nights, right?
Yeah, it's the cartoon movie.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of other ones. Oh, you know what? Before you even get into this, I know where you're going with the Die Hard thing, but I actually watched 2 Christmas movies recently. I watched Noel, which is on Disney Plus.
Oh, with Anna Kendrick. Yeah, I almost watched that last night.
Anna Kendrick, that's some good stuff. But that one was pretty good. I mean, for what it was kind of funny. For like a family movie. And I watched Fat Man with Mel Gibson recently, which is kind of like a weird genre. Like, I don't even know what genre it falls into, but it's pretty interesting concept of, you know, a guy trying to kill Santa Claus. What's like Walton Goggins? Is that his name?
I have no idea. I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? He's in, you don't know, you'd know this guy if you saw him. He's in a shit ton of things. He's on Walton Goggins, that's his name. I just looked it up. He's in he was in Vice Principals, he's in The Righteous Gemstones, he's got some show on, I don't know, CBS or something.
Yeah. Okay.
The Unicorn. You know him if you saw him.
Yep, I just looked him up. Yeah. All right.
But Fat Man it's weird. It's not the best movie, not the worst movie, but I definitely, you know, if you got nothing to do, give it a rental on one of, you know, the on-demand VOD services.
Oh man, I'll throw out a Christmas movie for people. It's actually a sequel. The first movie wasn't a Christmas movie. Daddy's Home 2.
Oh, this is Nick Sanka's favorite Christmas movie.
It's so good. It is so good. As a kid from a divorced family, man, that's my favorite movie right now for
Nick Sanka it will text me the entire month of December about how Daddy's Home 2 is the best Christmas movie.
He's not wrong. I'm probably gonna have to sit down and make sure I watch it.
I've never really I've watched it, but it's been one of those things to where it's on like in the background sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never really give it its appreciation, I guess.
You technically have to watch the first one to understand the dynamics of everybody going into the second one. But then the second one is just, it's a great Christmas movie, man.
I know the first one, but what about, you know, before we get into the Die Hard debate here, Lethal Weapon, isn't that around Christmas time?
Yeah. Lethal Weapon is, that's a good Christmas one for sure. Mel Gibson, Danny Glover.
All right, we're already running over time. Let's throw to it because this podcast is gonna be 2 fucking hours.
Well, hey, we've already mentioned Die Hard. We talked about the debate and whether you believe it's a Christmas movie or not. One member of the AIW roster wholeheartedly believes it is a Christmas movie, and that, of course, is the Duke. So, the Duke and the Bitcoin Boiz are here now with a live script reading from a scene of Die Hard, and I will tell you that Mikey Montgomery plays the role of Dwayne Robinson. Eric Taylor plays Al Powell, and of course, as you would guess, the Duke is John McClane.
The Duke seems more like a Hans Gruber to me.
That's fair.
The scene begins in the interior, 32nd floor, where John McClane is. He sits up and lifts the CB radio.
Al! Al! The guys in the car! Did they make it?
Intercut outside of Powell. On the street, watching as the survivors are pulled out of the wreck and safety.
Safe and sound, thanks to you. What the fuck was that?
The plastique I found. Is the building on fire?
No, but it's gonna need one hell of a paint job and a shitload of screen doors. One spotter say you got 2 with that blast.
2? Are you sure?
Before Powell can answer, Robinson comes running up to him.
Is that him?
Yes, sir.
Give me that. Now listen to me, mister. I don't know what you think you're doing, but demolishing a building doesn't fall under the definition of help. There's hundreds of people out here, and you covered half of them in pieces of glass.
Glass my ass! Who the fuck is this?
This is Deputy Chief of the Police, Dwayne T. Robinson, and I'm in charge of this situation.
McClane leans tiredly against the elevator door.
Well, from up here, it doesn't look like you're in charge of shit, Dwayne. I haven't seen such a fucked up operation since the Bride of Frankenstein. Ask the guys in the armored car if they mind a little flying glass.
Listen, asshole.
Asshole? I'm not the one who just got butt-fucked on national TV, Dwayne. Now, if you're not part of the solution, stop being part of the problem. Get off the goddamn radio and put Al back on.
McClane is so furious he's out of breath. Cut to the limo where Argyle is. Argyle nods in agreement.
Tell him, Mac! Tell him!
Back to the 33rd floor to John McClane. Still seething, there's a long pause on the CB. Then,
Hello, Roy. How you feeling? Pretty fucking underappreciated.
and scene.
That dramatic reading of Die Hard brought to you by the Duke and the Bitcoin Boiz. And we'd like to take this moment to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And as always, welcome to the party, pal.
What's going on, y'all? It's the Urban Playboy, Mr. Fresh to Death Playboy Smooth. And I'm going to tell you guys one of my favorite Christmas songs. It's called Santa Baby by Kalen Allen. Obviously, he's not the one that originally wrote this song, but I think he does a real smooth job on it. You know, the beats and the melodies change throughout the song. It's like a good build-up. And dude has a powerful voice, you know what I mean? So check it out. It's called Santa Baby from Kalen Allen. Hope you guys are staying safe with the pandemic and all that. And happy holidays. Hope to see you guys in 2021. Peace.
I don't really have many fucking memories because I can't really remember shit. But I would have to be, I just got a bike like when I was in 2nd grade, and I rode that bitch, but I can't really ride a bike. So I like crashed into my uncle's bushes, and then I broke my front teeth later that day.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Joseline Navarro, and I just want to wish you all a happy holidays, a felices vacaciones, feliz año nuevo, feliz navidad, whatever you celebrate, happy holidays. And my favorite times about this time of the year is going to travel, getting out the country, seeing something new. So I hope you all see something new, and I hope you all enjoy your holiday, and I will see you all in 2021.
Yo, what's up everybody? This is Tre LaMar here. I just wanted to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And with this upcoming year, I hope to see you all very soon. Happy holidays to you all.
Yes, sir. This is Maserati Wes Barkley. I'm with the Iceman, Ricky Bricks, Mr. Brickster, and the absolutely intense icon, Joshua Bishop. The Rip City Shooters, live and direct. And we're coming with you with our Christmas wish list. What do we want for Christmas? Well, we got a long list, but we're going to keep it short for you guys, short and sweet today. So let me start first. I want a $100 sushi gift card to the best sushi place in the world. You pick it, I'll be there, and I'm eating. Iceman, what do you want?
Yo, I want the guy, Macaulay Culkin, in the middle of the ring for a lumberjack Christmas tree match so I could drop that little twerp on its neck piece.
You got it. Yo, JB, what you want, bro?
If there's any gift that I could get from Santa this year, I hope when I get under that tree on December 25th and I open up a gift, I get a box. And in that box, I get a dog collar. And with that dog collar comes a guaranteed match against John Thor.
That sounds good.
Woo-wee, dog collar. Speaking of matches, for what else I know us collectively is for Edmonton to stop booking. Been too long. I want him off my list, if anything. And other thing is that I want everybody to check out my food reviews. Different story, different day. Hey, so what did we have that we had to eat before we tore up the collective, Mr. Brickster? I think we need 12 to 15 to 20 dozen of those. What were they? Cronuts?
Yeah. The Fox's Cronuts. Right out of Nashville, Tennessee. What you guys know about that? I'm sure a lot of people do know about those Cronuts, but yeah, we would like 12 of them. Actually, you know what? Let's X that out. Make it 24. X that out. Make it 44, 64. I don't care. We want as many cronuts as you have.
We're gonna need that. And then JB, I know you're pretty hungry, but you also got an expensive taste in shoes. What shoes did you want for Christmas?
I want a fresh pair of Air Mags, baby. Self-lacing.
I like it. We got a lot of wishes
Tell
here.
them your
Make sure
size.
you guys fill up our PayPal. Hit up that
Size
Amazon
13.
wish list.
You know what happens if you don't get out of the way. JB, tell them what happens if you don't get out
Tell
of
them
the way.
about Grandma. Tell them about Grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
You don't get out of the way. You better ask Grandma. You better ask Grandma what happened, because Grandma didn't get out of the way of shooters, and that's how she got ran over.
Oh!
All right, so hopefully you enjoyed the Duke and Bitcoin Boiz as diehard. Plus, we heard from everybody in 40 Acres there, which was great to hear from them. And Rip City giving us their holiday wish list.
Jesus.
Which, I mean,
This has to end. It just has to end. Enough is enough.
you heard it. He wants the dog collar under the tree, says Josh Bishop.
Chandler sold Haley Hatred's dog collar on eBay for like $75. It had pieces of her blonde hair stuck in it. That was part of the description.
That's that's interesting.
Somebody out there's got it.
I will
Merry
say,
Christmas, everybody.
I do want to throw out a really quick. It is a little bit of a somber note, but we heard from 40 Acres, and we did hear from AJ, and he sent this to us earlier on last week, and really only a few short days ago, his grandfather passed away. So all our thoughts and our condolences are with AJ Gray and his family. Man, that's a shitty thing to go through right now at the holidays. But
yeah, that is that's it's real difficult to deal with death in general. But then when you mix it with holidays, it makes it even worse. My uncle passed away the day after Christmas a few years ago, which I actually, the funeral was the day of an AIW show, which that was an infamous John Thorne after party.
It was
because I was having a rough day that day, but I think that's where I threw chairs at people or something. I don't know what was going on.
You were throwing chairs at us. Yeah,
that's that's tough. My heart goes out to AJ Gray because that is it's a tough thing to think about, and that's what makes the holidays hard for a lot of people, is thinking about those people that aren't here anymore, and and figuring out how to kind of continue on and like persevere through it all. And it's a lot of people don't realize, like, the holidays for some people it's very stressful time.
Oh sure, absolutely, it really is. But our hearts out to him.
I'll never forget, like, every year, like, you knew it was Christmas before, you even made it to the Christmas gathering when one of your parents said, "Merry fucking Christmas," because they were yelling about something or stressed out about something, forgot to go to the store and buy a present, like, I knew we were coming up on, getting ready to go to the Christmas family gathering when I heard a "Merry fucking Christmas" because something wasn't done or some food wasn't cooked, or my dad forgot something or my mom forgot something. One of them gave a "Merry fucking Christmas" every year, and that's how you knew it was Christmas time.
Well, Rip City talked about their wish list, and AJ did give us a very funny Christmas present memory, crashing a bicycle that he got and breaking his 2 front teeth. But did you have any good presents that you've gotten?
Well, I talked about the Talk Boy thing earlier. Yeah. The thing that sucks is, my birthday is 5 days before Christmas, so it's kind of a ripoff. Like, you never appreciate Christmas or the birthday at all. Because it's like, like, these kids would get like Christmas and then they have like a birthday in like March or the summer, you know what I mean? So it's like they get these 2 big, events every year where they get stuff. For me, it's kind of like, hey, here you go, and it's like, the family members start going, well, this is for your birthday and for Christmas, or, so, like, and obviously, like, Sega games and all that stuff when I was younger. I remember getting the Royal Rumble Sega Genesis game. I remember getting a Carolina Panthers starter jacket. Just
Nice,
you know,
nice.
just dumb stuff. You know, like I don't know, money and you know, my uncles were always like infamous for buying like the cheapest, shittiest gift and like really trying to upsell it. Like, hey, you like horror movies? I got you this collection of 75 horror movies on one disc. You know, like those like dollar bin like compilation DVD things, like just shit like that. You know, but it was always kind of like a here's for your birthday and for Christmas sort of thing. So it was always kind of never all that exciting. I do remember getting a Nintendo 64, which I feel classified as my birthday present. But yeah, I don't know. Like nothing really is sticking out. Like one year as I got older and I started getting a job, like, you know, a job where I had some money to spend.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like 5 or 10 years ago, me and my sister were like, we're going to go hard and we're going to get nice stuff for like the entire family. And we bought our parents like 60-inch flat screen TV.
Wow.
And they got me cleaning products for my apartment that year. It was like, I took a picture of it. It was like a bottle of Lysol on top of their brand new TV. Maybe this is why I'm bitter about the holidays. I don't know.
You know, and my dad and stepmoms growing up, there were 4 boys, and I think our favorite presents were usually the family ones, the group ones. That's when we got our Nintendo 64 and all of those things. And one year we all got boxing gloves, and we got a big punching bag. But of course, we didn't use the punching bag. We just
used them on each other.
Yeah, just start punching each other, and that was a whole thing.
That's the other thing that was kind of weird about my life is I was an only child for 10 years.
Yeah.
So like, you know, that year 11 was a little different, you know, and like things changed up. Maybe that's why, you know, I'm so selfish about some things all the time, because I was for 10 years and there were no other kids around my age really in the family or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know, but it was I was an only child for 10 years. So that was also, you know, that was a reality check, but it also kind of sucks because I didn't get to do stuff like that. I didn't have like cousins and things to play with like that.
I remember the one year I came back from my dad's house. I went over to my mom's, and it was right around Christmas, but it wasn't quite Christmas yet. I think we were 2 weeks from Christmas. And my mom says to my older brother and I, she's like, hey, do you guys want one of your Christmas presents now, early, or do you want to wait until Christmas? And we had this legit debate, like, ooh, maybe we want to wait until Christmas because this means like we don't get to open up the big thing on Christmas. But my brother was always like, I want it now. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't care that much. So we said, we'll take it now. And it turned out my stepdad was hiding in the bathroom with a puppy. And we had gotten a puppy for Christmas. And then it just became a fun conversation because I just looked at my mom and I asked, well, what would you have done if we would have said we wanted to wait until Christmas? Like, this guy just going to hide? Like, we're going to hide this dog for 2 weeks, you know? And that's always a fun memory at our house.
Were you ever like snoop? Did you ever like snoop around trying to find the presents in your house? Were you ever that kid?
No, not really. Because it was, I don't know, it was just the fun of opening the presents was a good time. I remember when I was a really, really little kid, I was in bed. I was notorious for like waking up in the middle of the night, and I did that on Christmas Eve, and back when my parents were still married at the time. And I went downstairs, and my dad was asleep in his recliner, and all of a sudden here there were just mountains of Christmas presents under the tree, and I woke him up. And I was so mad at him that he slept through Santa coming.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, we could have seen him, you know? I was like, we had an opportunity here, and you were passed out, dude. Like, what are you doing? But, I didn't... I didn't really try to snoop. I feel like my older brother did for sure.
When I got old, like I'm saying like older years, like I would definitely like, I don't know, like that 11, 12, 13, you know, like
yeah.
I'd find myself like walking up in the attic and looking around, you know, and like seeing if I saw anything. Oh, I just thought of another Christmas present I got. I got a basketball hoop one year that my dad has still not put up. It's like, here you go. And it's still up in the garage. It's still up in the attic. Well, you never put it up.
As we've been older, it was like, somewhere between 5-10 years ago, my dad and stepmom ride Harleys. They each have their own motorcycle. But my stepmom's, it was going to be her, I guess it was 10 years ago. It was like her 50th birthday present. And her birthday's at the end of February. So Christmas that year, like my brothers and I open up presents and we're getting like undershirts and socks. And we're like, what the hell is this, man? He's like, yeah, Christmas is a little light this year. I'm like, sorry, blah, blah. Didn't get a huge Christmas bonus. And like, like it's fine. I'm not going to be selfish, whatever. 2 months later, unveils this motorcycle from my stepmom. And we're like, oh, this makes sense. Totally get why Christmas was light that year, dude.
Oh, that was always the worst when you got clothes as a kid for Christmas. You know, it wasn't a toy or a gadget.
Did you get Jinko jeans for Christmas?
I never wore a pair of Jinko jeans in my life.
I got a lot.
I got a lot of FUBU shirts though.
Oh man, I did not like the Jinko jeans, but all my brothers did, and my dad got everybody a pair, and he got me the smallest, most normal pair that you could find. But to me, they were still just ridiculous.
I was not a Janko jeans person. I was. I definitely had a couple FUBU football jerseys. You know, when I was like 13, 14.
There you go.
I got nothing too weird. Like I remember I got a Deion Sanders Dallas Cowboys jersey one year for Christmas.
Nice. I got Troy Aikman. I got the throwback. I always got football jerseys and baseball jerseys for Christmas.
I remember getting a Larry Johnson basketball jersey.
Oh, that's a sweet
Charlotte
jersey.
Hornets. That I wish I still had that. That was
it was the pinstripe Hornets?
Yeah. Like the turquoise one.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
that's
sweet
good
get.
stuff. You know, sweet fucking gear.
That is awesome.
I think I wore it for like my school pictures that year or something. You know, my parents probably have a photograph of me with some fucking hair that looks like I just woke up and a Larry Johnson jersey on.
My best gift givers are actually my step parents. Every year, my stepdad, now it's become a thing, gets me something totally ridiculous. So like the Tanaka AIW show, I wore that really ridiculous wintry suit that had the abominable snowman all over him. And that was a gift from my stepdad. And he gets me really dumb onesies every year. Like I got a T-Rex onesie and I have an elf onesie, all these crazy ass things. So those are from him, and that's a lot of fun and amusing. But one of my favorite gifts ever was we went a big family vacation. My dad's family went to New York City one year, and LeBron James had released a pair of sneakers that were not basketball shoes. They were just like low top, cool shoes, and they were St. Vincent, St. Mary colors. So they were the green and gold. And they didn't have them in my size, and you could not really get them anywhere. They were limited edition. My stepmom freaking tracked down a pair from somewhere overseas at a store and had them shipped to us for Christmas. I still have these shoes. I think I've worn them a total of 5 times.
An ex-girlfriend of mine got me some Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Krueger Nikes. Like the inside it looks like Freddy Krueger skin, and they're red on the outside. That's probably the best shoe present that I ever got. I think they're probably knockoffs or something. I think she had to order them from like Japan or somewhere weird, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Don't really get too many shoes for me for Christmas, but those are the cool kind of. That's probably the coolest gift. That's the thing that sucks though, is when you get older, like, I don't know, like, and my family's getting older, and like it's just kind of like, oh, here you go. It's just like an envelope of money, which is cool. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I don't really get oh, like here's like this thoughtful item, you know. It's just kind of like, oh, here's some money, you know. Like I'll walk out with like a considerable amount of cash, which is fine. But like I'm also not like a guy that goes out and shops for things, you know. Like I'm a very like whatever kind of person, so
Yeah.
I don't really come across like. And like I don't walk out with like items, you know what I mean? And it's just like I just have money, like, which is a weird thing to complain about. But you kind of like getting that. I don't know, some sort of, I guess, thoughtful object or thing, right?
That's the spirit of the holiday, is that thought out gift giving idea is.
And if you think I'm not like thoughtful or thinking of a person, like my dad is like 10 times more laid back than I am, so it's like, you know, like he's not going out and getting anything, and you know, it's so, and my grandma's 83 years old, so it's just it's always weird when you make that kind of transition from like you're getting toys to then it's like electronics, and then it's just like, here's some money, you know?
You know, one thing that my families have never done, but I have friends that always did do this, is travel and go to like exotic locations and stuff for the holidays.
I've never done that. My entire life, it's been Christmas Eve at my grandmother's house. That's it.
That's a very weird thing to me, to not spend the holidays here and like at home, and like Home Alone, they go down to Florida. Well, they're supposed to go to France. They end up in Florida.
I pitched it to my grandmother, you know, since she's getting older, and you know, I have cousins that are 11 and 13, you know, and I was just like, you know, you're getting older. Maybe we should just go somewhere as our like small little family that's left, and go, and you don't have to put the stress on yourself anymore, and we can go to, you know, take these kids to fucking Disney World or something. But she's not having it. She is not breaking the tradition. It's not for her.
Well, we do have some AIW roster members that are located in an exotic location for the holidays or any time, and they have sent us a message. But following them in terms of locations, we go to your chat with Colt Cabana. You know, speaking of fun locations, there's always that studio apartment on Maxwell Street in Chicago, Illinois. But before Colt Cabana, here is a message from the AIW Tag Champions PME from Erotic City.
Ho, ho, ho. Hello, everyone. It's your boys down in Erotic City, Philly C. and Marino T. The AIW Tag Team Champions coming to you through the smooth sound waves. Oh, yeah.
And we have one question for you. Have you been naughty?
Or have you been nice? It doesn't matter down here in Erotic City whether you've been naughty or nice.
'Cause it's Christmas all year long.
And we just want to wish you all down there happy holidays.
And a Merry Christmas.
From Philly C.
and Marino T.
Now joining us on the AIW The Card is Going to Change Holiday Extravaganza Spectacular, none other than Colt Boom Boom Cabana. Welcome to the Holiday Extravaganza, whatever it is. I don't know.
Why are you trying to sound professional? What is this?
Hey, we're trying to you know, come off like a real podcast these days.
Yeah, but you sound like a weird PBS NPR reporter.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not usually the moderator. Steve Guy usually does this part.
Oh,
so,
okay. You're doing great. I'd like to make a note, although this is only audio. There is a video component to John and I talking, and he's just showing me his forehead, which is so weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's how my mic is positioned and everything else. It's very strange. But
let's talk about the holidays, Thorny. And before you, I know I said, hey, I need you to lead me a little bit because I've wrestled in probably over 3,000 matches at this point, or whatever it is. But I do, you know, there was a tradition that I did for many years, which was what would it be? It was either Saturday. It would be Friday for AIW in Cleveland, then drive back Saturday in Chicago for AAW. Is that correct?
Yeah, like typically we would always do a Friday. AAW would always do the Saturday. So, and most of the time you would, your schedule was so packed, we could only get you a couple times a year, but you always, almost all the time, did that December double shot with AAW.
And that was because, what was that, December or was that November? Because that was always before Thanksgiving.
So you would do a lot of both. You would do a lot of, we would be Friday, they would be Saturday, and then the same thing in December as well, Friday, Saturdays.
Right, and that comes from Jewish guilt of my mother early in my career, because early in the career, we went wherever. We did a lot of Thanksgivings down for IWA Mid-South, and, it got to the point where she's like, hey, when do we spend time with the family? And then I had choices, and it's like, well, if I can get these shows in the Midwest, that means I could be home for holidays. I could be home, for Thanksgiving and for Christmas.
Now, so I'm totally oblivious to like Jewish culture and Hanukkah and how that works. Like, is that like a thing that?
No, I don't spend. I'm not home every 8 days at Hanukkah.
That's what I didn't know. I don't know how it works.
But it's been a holiday tradition, and I know this sounds kind of the movies or pop culture has made this kind of a thing, but like before it became a thing, like we went and got Chinese food on Christmas, and we went and saw a movie. And when I was a kid, nobody was at the movie theater. It was like it was like a Jewish known secret. And now, like, that's what everybody does, is you go to the movies on Christmas.
Right. That's what I was interested in, is like, because, for me, it's like if I missed Christmas, my family would disown me. You know what I mean? Like, is that like, I imagine that you're wrestling throughout Hanukkah and all, like you said, Thanksgiving. Do you get a lot of that family backlash, or how does that work?
Yeah, I did for Thanksgiving a lot. And that's why, again, like I said, that's why I would love to take those Cleveland and Illinois shots, just so I could be home, because it did get to a point. One of the Thanksgivings I remember is bringing Sami Zayn over to have Thanksgiving dinner with me and the family, and my grandma really took to Sami Zayn. My grandma was also a redhead, though, so rest in peace. That was one of her last memories, was having dinner with Sami Zayn. What a fucking my poor grandmother.
Is it weird for you now to not have such a busy schedule?
Yeah, this is wild. It probably took something like this to make it happen and make me accept it, and probably make me get used to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because, like I was just saying, like, there were a select amount of dates every year that we knew that we could always get Colt Cabana on, because you were booked solid. You would be booked solid, 8 months in advance sometime. And like I said, you always would do November and December, or November or December, something like that. And I was just thinking, like, this has to be a total culture shock for you, or just a change of pace. Like you never have slowed down in almost 20 years.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't hate it, and my body needed it, and I think, I did those quarantine series of my podcast, and I think that's what Matt Cross said. Obviously, AIW legend. Also, he was just like, because we know nobody else is doing it, it's acceptable that we can do this. So it is a lot of like, well, if the bookings are out there, I need to get the bookings. Well, we know the bookings aren't there, so right. I'm not going to get the bookings. And also, the bookings are there, but I'm leaning way on the side of I don't want to die, or my family to die. So that's kind of how my beliefs lean towards. So in that sense, I'm more than happy to skip some indie shows for the sake of humanity.
Yeah, and I've noticed you've started kind of diversifying the things you do. You've gotten into Twitch, and you're trying to put more content out there. Do you think that is because of being stuck at home and trying to figure out different ways to connect with people, or get yourself out there?
100%. Yeah, when this thing started, I started doing Instagram Live every night, and then I quickly became very annoyed with Instagram Live. So I think I'm just throwing a lot of stuff at the wall, and we'll see if anything picks up.
Do you when, say, the world opens back up, do you think you're gonna go back in full steam, or do you think you're gonna have maybe a more pick and choosy schedule.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little more selective.
Because you would take everything and anything at a time, and I think you enjoyed some of the stories of taking everything and anything.
Well, I think I'll be more picky, but if there's something that's going to be a great story, I will take, I'll take the random show in Wyoming or whatever it might be just to see what comes out of it. So
right, like you and Matt Cross, you brought up specifically, like it was like you guys were always kind of finding these super weird bookings, or like he would be in some foreign country somewhere, and like it. Do you see like that kind of mentality changing to where you're not just going to pick up and go like you used to?
For myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It's kind of scary, but I think maybe for me it's the right time at 40 years old. If this was me in my 30s, I probably wouldn't do it, but maybe this is just kind of like a sign of like, hey, it's all kind of come together at the same time. Like you can slow down, you're allowed to. So I think so.
Because you were somebody that, like, during this whole thing, there's a lot of people that, were similar and booked up solid and all that, but you have been doing it, like, so long, so hard at such a packed schedule. So, like, this whole time I just kept thinking, like, this has to be such a drastic change for you.
Yeah, but you got to remember, like, as this quarantine went down, I signed a contract with AEW, which has me traveling every Wednesday or every other Wednesday. And, I'm working and I have, like, a pretty solid foundation. And so it's not as scary. Now, if I didn't have that contract, it'd be a little different, I think. But I still, I'm still traveling twice a month, and I still have that like travel bug that I get out of my system, and I'm still doing stuff. So I think AEW's been a savior in that aspect.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, is that if you didn't have that, would it have been so easy to turn down the offers if they're when they were coming in during the pandemic? Do you think? AEW, like you said, AEW, if you didn't have that security blanket, so to speak, or that sure thing, do you think that you would be, still maybe making some tough choices?
I think I would definitely not do the shows just out of, I don't want to be around people right now. Like, no offense to anybody or their beliefs, but that's just my beliefs, and I'm pretty strong about it. So, I would be sad in that aspect. But, if someone's dangling, I don't think if someone's dangling a carrot, unless the money was crazy. So I guess, $1 Million Man style, everyone has a price. But, what I found is it's pretty wild, John, is that, obviously I'm now on television a lot, and so my stock has risen, but the promoters that did reach out and try to book me, they were trying to book me for less than I was wrestling for before I was in AEW. And a lot of promoters who asked to book me also, I told them, like, I'm like, because my business mind is crazy.
This is your dream. Like, this has been your dream forever. Like, get on TV to do more indie bookings. Like, this is like the what you've been talking about forever, Wrestling Society X dream,
But I know that these people can only do 50 people. The promoters can only have 50 people at a show or whatever it is. And I'm like, you can't justify paying me what I want. You're not going to get that back at ticket prices. So I'm like telling promoters, like, I don't even want your offer. Like, wait till the fans are back so you can give me a real offer that I will accept. So, that's kind of how my brain works in terms of maybe or maybe not choosing other shows.
So, back to some of these holiday shows that you've come in for AIW, just off the top of my head, I have some really bad notes, but just last year, around this time last year, you did the stuff with ICP at AIW.
Oh, yeah.
Which seems like a lifetime ago.
You'd have to remind me. Yeah, I guess I remember. So my memories are driving to the new place that we had there. And it was just, I remember it was really cold and having to walk, and I was really upset that I had to pay like $20 for parking. I remember that because it was in like a cool place,
Yeah,
right?
it's like right in downtown Cleveland now. That's where we had been for a while, but
And I remember, ICP had, they're so good with their fans, but they also they're kind of nitpicky like I am. And I get it. So I remember that it was one at a time and security, it was security guards, and they want to upkeep their aura, which of course, and we know a lot of wrestlers who are like that. I won't name any names, but they're out there. And, it makes their aura cool. But backstage, we're like, come on, guys. But because they're doing that, they're making them. They're making the right business choice there.
And I remember specifically that's why I wanted you involved there, because you did have a relationship with them, and my wrestling bookingness, whatever you want to call it, was I think that maybe I can get more out of them if there's a familiar face around them, and that was very instrumental in the whole negotiations with those guys. But I remember there was good cop, bad cop stuff going on, and it was very frustrating for me. But I was I was just happy to get them out there doing something and get that moment for AIW, and you were a huge part of putting that whole thing together.
Yeah, and people, especially in independent wrestling, that we talk about moves and moves and moves after moves, and I am for awesome moves are awesome and entertaining. But I'm not going to say I remember this match move for move, but I just remember we had we had 4 or 5 steps and chapters of versions of that actual match where it needed to be put together, and it all came together really well, I feel. And that was a little more storytelling than it was moves based.
It was laid out to be a bunch of moments to lead to the big ICP moment.
Right, and there was no big move that anyone's going to remember of a crazy ricochet driver or something. But I think there were definitely moments that are memorable, which I think is cool about pro wrestling. Is we can make moments that don't use any moves, and we could make moments by doing awesome, incredible moves.
And that's been my struggle with the whole do shows during the pandemic, don't do shows during the pandemic. We tried to, and I quickly realized that AIW, I try to do it more as a live experience, and there are cool wrestling matches or cool moves or whatever, but I really like booking those moments and those kind of unforgettable things, and it is impossible to do during the pandemic because no matter what you do, people are going to turn on the news when they leave the show, and they're going to forget whatever the fuck they saw at the wrestling event.
And there's nothing like just people packed in
right,
sardines.
Exactly, and it just sucks. And so the ICP thing pops out.
When was Dennis and Grado? When was that?
That was in February. But another thing you did in December was you taped Wrestling Road Diaries 3, which had Tracy and Grado, and you and Kikutaro. That was back in 2015.
Wow. And I just recently put that video up from AIW of Tracy and back talking. And one of my favorite things that I don't think gets enough love is when he couldn't find his keys for 20 minutes, and I go, look in your pocket.
They were right in his pocket
on camera, and they were in his pocket. It was so great.
When he passed away, I was just going down a YouTube rabbit hole, and I watched that, and I was like, this is the stuff that wrestling fans don't get to see, as to why all of us in wrestling love Tracy, because he was such a character that I feel that we're not going to see replicated as wrestling continues to go on. You're not going to see the guys like Tracy Smothers anymore in 15 years, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're all from different eras, but you know what? In 15 years, they're going to be like, nobody's like Colt Cabana, or no one's like this guy, because it's going to be so much more
changed and evolved.
Yeah, that era is going to be so much different than all of us. So,
and just another quick memory, in 2013 in December, you wrestled Tracy Smothers. I don't know if you remember that match at all.
I believe that was at Turner's Hall, right?
Yeah, it was at Turner's Hall, and
I think we called nothing, and I just remember I think the fans really liked it, but I remember trying to watch it back, and I just couldn't because we did absolutely nothing.
And it was all like that live experience,
right,
sort of thing. And you guys are sword fighting with 2x4 and a crutch or something else. And yeah, it's just craziness.
Oh, I think we went way too long with that one.
Yeah, which was, and that's old AIW where it didn't matter how long the show was, you know. Like there were no times, there were no anything. As we've gotten into this more fight TV whatever era of wrestling, we have to get a little bit more.
Did Marty DeRosa come with me, and did he do commentary on that?
He did commentary on that because you guys, we helped put together that live Marty and Colt comedy show in Cleveland that weekend as well. We did it on a Thursday night at that one bar. That was one of your earlier, like, where you guys watch wrestling and tell jokes about it, and it was packed.
It was packed.
Yeah,
that was the height of my podcast popularity, I think.
Yeah, it was like sold out like instantly. Like I remember, like I set the bar up and it was like a free room rental sort of thing. They just wanted to keep the bar, and they didn't know what the fuck they were getting into. And
of course not.
I guess it's that place has gone out of business, but I guess that went down as one of like the highest money making nights ever in that bar's history. Yeah,
not for me. Although I do remember Biggins popped for a room, and I was like, "I'll pay for it." He's like, "No, don't worry, I got it." And I was so impressed and happy.
Yeah, that was that he must have got his Christmas bonus a little early that year or something.
Right, or they must have gave him some on the backside of that deal.
No, I set that whole thing up. We got nothing on the backside. Okay. I think you gave us like a cut of tickets or something like that, like whatever it was. But I do remember you were arguing with the owner trying to score a free sandwich, and it was a real negotiation.
I do remember that.
But yeah, I mean that's all. We've already gone way longer than I expected we were going to go. But no, that's totally fine. I just we text all the time and talk all the time, but we never really get to have any sort of real conversations about anything. So you were a person that I wanted to have on for this, and just I was kind of shocked when I looked. You've done so many of these holiday AIW events.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's my love of AIW, and obviously the love of the fans and the relationship I've grown with all of them over the years. But it really, I think it comes down to is it's an easy drive for me, and I could stay in town. Like I'm not saying that to be like
but it makes sense, and I think that's kind of what I wanted to get across is like, especially like during your height of your podcast, and like you were getting people. I don't think people realize like you were getting bookings like so far out, but you always kind of like figured out a way to come back, and that's kind of, as a promoter, I have to look forward to those things. Like you do want to be close to home, during one of these weekends. And it's like, so we were able to kind of, capitalize on that, and AAW was able to, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a weird aspect of wrestling that I don't think fans even realize.
And it was wild. It was a wild time to get my booking sheet. And, to this day, I don't use like a computer or anything. I have like a little calendar book. That's a 2-year calendar book that I buy every time. And I would go down and like I would make my priorities. I'd be like AIW, AAW, Beyond. There was a couple other, I hate when First Wrestling. And I'd always check out. I'd be like, hey, what are your dates that you want me to take? And essentially I would take those, and then I would kind of fill everything around it. And but then I would always tell everybody, international is kind of a priority to me because right. I want to see the world. So, I would fill all these things up, but then, it almost got to the point where I would do 10 or 12 international trips a year, which is one a month. And sometimes, when it's a New Japan tour or a Noah tour, those are 2 to 3 weeks. So, a random show in Chile or a random show in Costa Rica, then I would go to you or Danny Daniels. I'd be like, I got this Costa Rica show. And the great thing I knew was you guys would always be like, yeah, of course, take it. And I knew that wouldn't affect my other bookings. So that was a big part of like, as an independent wrestler, are these relationships you make with the promoters.
Yeah, and like kind of building out your core. Like I would always remember you would say like, hey, what dates do you have? And, at those times we wouldn't even have a year booked out, right? Because, we were going like, kind of like in quarters. Like we're going to book like these 3 dates and then see how it goes and book these 3 dates. But whenever we would have dates, you would always ask and we would send whatever we had and you would be like, okay, I'll take this one and then I'll take this one and then I'll do the one probably in November and December. And I don't know if that has anything to do with how the international tours work, but you always seem to, no matter what, kind of be around in that November, December time, no matter what. So we were always kind of able to catch you most of the time. There, you missed a couple of years, but it really depended on how your schedule was working. But I think that was, that's the kind of stuff that people don't really get to hear about in wrestling is kind of how, it would be like you said, you would go to us or AAW or Beyond and you would try to kind of book out a little shell. So, okay, I have this, this, and this. And then you would get all these offers from everywhere. And then you would kind of fill in the blanks and say, and then sometimes it would be like, hey, this guy in Oklahoma is offering me like three times the amount of money, can I take this? And, we'd work around and, sometimes you'd have a booking fall off and be like, hey, this guy canceled me. Can I get on this? And, I don't think people realize how kind of sometimes, by the seat of your pants sort of thing, like wrestling works. And then also like at the same time, how organized it is.
Right. But it's like a thrill. It's like a drug almost because it is so crazy and hectic, but I love and loved doing it. It's something I really enjoy. And you're right, like people outside of my bubble are just like, how do you maintain this? And it's like, well, it's the only thing I really know. And I've slowly built up to it, almost like drugs. Like I've slowly built up a tolerance to figuring out how to book out a 365-year independent calendar all over the world.
But before you finish that, like that drug thing, like really made me kind of, piqued my interest because,
you like drugs?
No, I don't like drugs. I'm a very anti-drug guy, but, early in AIW, like we would have one thing and they would cancel or not show up or whatever. It was like devastating, but then like it kind of became like a, how can we fix this thrill sort of thing? Like how can we maneuver this around? Like the pressure or something about it, like just made me feel a little bit alive, and like, that's a weird thing about wrestling too, is trying to figure out how to problem solve or whatever, like if you have a booking fall off or something like that, you got to kind of figure out how you can solve. And it gives you like a little bit of a rush when you figure it out or you fix your problem.
Who can I yell at on Twitter to make sure that the world now hates them because they canceled my booking?
It's just,
that's the process.
Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with that process anymore.
No, I'm joking. That was a joke. Come on.
But I know what you're saying though, because that is how it's getting to be. With wrestling now. Sometimes it's kind of like, oh, okay, I'm just going to complain on Twitter and not fix my problem.
I would always have that thought, and I would always, for the most part, I would say 99 of 100 times, I would keep myself in check. I do that a lot. It's like you want to do it, but I know, like, hey, Colt, take a step back. Don't say anything. Like, you'll be fine. Like, you can eat tomorrow. It's not a big deal that this person canceled.
What are your drafts looking like on Twitter? You got some crazy drafts that you saved.
I probably do. But lastly, I'd like to say is a memory too is I guess remembering how cold those drives were.
Yeah.
And I remember starting out in the car, like running in the snow to my car, and then by the time you're driving, it just gets so hot that you then have to take like all your clothes off, and then you go to a rest stop, and then you have to put your clothes back on, and that's definitely a memory. And I'm pretty sure I got a flat tire by myself on the way from Cleveland to Chicago in the freezing cold, and some legend came because when that stuff happens, I'm like crying. I don't know what to do. I'm like, Mom, help me. But it was like
Right.
It was like 2 a.m, and some legend from the Ohio Turnpike like showed up and was like, oh, I'll help you. And I remember, I was trying to do a flat tire by myself, but I didn't know how to. And they had like a special tool, and it was like frozen cold. It was like frozen, so like wasn't able to get off. And so luckily this person just showed up, had this tool, and I did the like 300-mile drive on the spare tire.
Like the little donut tire.
On the little donut. I remember how scared I was. I went 60 the whole time, got home at like 7 a.m. And survived.
The glamorous life of a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, we can wind it down there. I just wanted to thank you for doing this. You know, I don't know what this is going to be, but we're trying to just get a little bit from different people and just talk about just what it's like, you know, running these shows around the holidays and getting different people's perspectives on the whole thing.
Hey, best case scenario, you put a little teaser on the podcast, chop it up, and we got some Patreon content, right?
Yeah, that's true. We are trying to grow our Patreon. We're trying to do all sorts of different things. You know, everyone's trying to figure out how to make it through right now. So
how to put a couple extra bucks in our packet.
All right, Colt. Thank you as always. Anything to plug? Any plugs? You always got plugs, right?
Everything. Hey, come find me on Twitch. I've been doing Twitch, and I really, really like it, and it's really fun. Twitch/Colt Cabana.
All right. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, the filthy way. We got a song coming at you from some AIW alumni. Santa Claus, suck my balls, drunk as hell, ringing bells at the mall. Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, and Cupid, I'ma get stupid, ha! I sat around all night under the chimney, hold him a sack like gimme, I know that he's coming, he must, looking up nothing but rust, dust. Turn on my TV the very next day, I see you getting paid, leading the parade. I'm that sniper on the building, listen to my 9 go click. Santa's a fat bitch. Santa Claus is a fat bitch. Another year and I ain't get shit. If I hear him land on my roof, oh, my Undertaker. Merry Christmas.
All right, John Thorne, what do you make of Tom Lawlor singing ICP for his favorite holiday song? He says this is the only holiday song he knows.
It's probably been mentioned on this podcast before. Tom Lawlor is a undercover juggalo. He loves ICP and he loves Twisted even more. We've had many of private conversations about this and our under the radar fandom for Psychopathic Records. But I wouldn't expect anything less from Tom Lawlor in the holiday season. A beautiful rendition if I've ever heard one myself.
When I pitched to him different things that he could maybe do for this, all he said was like, I gave him a list of things of like, what do you think? Any of these, whatever is fine. Yeah, I'll do it. I said, okay, cool. Well, what do you think you're going to do so I don't ask other people? He's like, I'm going to sing a jingle. That's how he said it. I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking holiday jingle, I'm going to have some weird, Tom Lawlor's going to sing like Jingle Balls instead of Jingle Bells or something goofy, or it's, Jingle Bells, Batman Smells I'm expecting from Tom Lawlor, and instead I get ICP sent to me.
Hey, I love it. I mean, it was great. Man, this has been a long episode. I hope people are still with us right now at this point in the game. Yeah. We're very deep into this project.
You wanted it, people.
Yeah, you guys wanted it, and we're giving it to you. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is maybe I would do it again next year. I don't know. It got more fun as it's gone on here today. Going through everything, but yeah, it's just...
Can you believe though that we're already a year removed from ICP being at AIW?
No, I mean
that was December.
COVID time is like, it feels like it doesn't move, but it does move. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
December is like last December is one of like the last real memories anybody has as far as, being in the AIW circle. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going on COVID time, December is really like 2 months ago because the last shows were kind of in February before COVID happened. So it feels like it was 2 months ago. It feels like not that long ago at all.
December was it was a wild one. We had ICP, we had Too Cold Scorpio. What
Too Cold Scorpio. My favorite thing about Too Cold Scorpio that day, which there's a million. Too Cold Scorpio is one of like the best people you can be around for just like random laughs. And I'll never forget, we were a good company and we're sitting at a table and Swoggle's eating and he says, "What do you got there?" And Swoggle says, I got a bologna sandwich, because they do like the fried bologna sandwich or something like that, you know, at Good Company.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like, he's like, that's not, he's like, you ain't got that. And then he got the menu and he saw it on there and he's like, I'm going to have the bologna sandwich. And he's like, man, this is fucking good. And like him just raving about the sandwich at Good Company. I don't know why, like just dumb shit like that makes me laugh.
It was, I think December was also when Fonzie broke his ribs. Was that then?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
No, that was in February.
Was it February? Okay, I couldn't remember when he put Wes Barkley through the table.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that was when he broke his ribs. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, but it all blends together, man. At this point, it's wild. That was a year ago, and here we are. And like you said, time stands still sometimes, but it keeps going. Well, I feel like we can wind this thing down. How do you feel, John?
I mean, if they're happy with it, I'm happy with it.
We're all happy. We're happy here with it. Hopefully, you guys have been happy with this.
Now I feel crazy though. I'm looking at the Good Company menu, and they don't have a fried bologna sandwich on there.
They did though. You're correct.
I swear it was a fried bologna sandwich.
Well, I think what you're looking at now is they condensed the menu when they were doing just like the food truck and stuff because of COVID. They condensed the menu, I think, very much.
All right, Jonah, if you're out there, if you're listening, confirm this because
or Jonah's crazy.
I'm convinced that Too Cold Scorpio enjoyed the bologna sandwich from Good Company.
I'm pretty sure that this was a thing. Yeah. I guess as we wind this thing down, from our big AIW family to yours, of course, we say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, because we won't talk to you until the next year.
This is all that I could handle. You know, I couldn't also do a New Year's special. I mean, maybe the first podcast back, maybe we'll see. I'm hoping that we have a better idea of when we can return and all that stuff in the next week or two. I know it's not moving that quickly, but as these vaccines roll out and all this other stuff is going on, it seems like things are going in the right direction. And I'm hoping that maybe in the next few weeks we can have some even better news as everything kind of turns over and changes. And I'm hopeful. I really am hopeful. And also, we are, if people saw on our social media, we're going to be appearing at Toy Hio, the toy convention in February. I believe it's February the 13th, Saturday. I'm going to see about getting some exclusive merchandise printed up for that. Maybe a limited run on hoodies or something like that to where you can only get it there. And then, also try to blow out everything that we got left over. But I'm really, I'm remaining hopeful for 2021. I'm hoping that we can do something in the first quarter of the year. That is my goal right now. If we can do a show in Cleveland in the first quarter of 2021, I think that would be great. I'm not locking anything in or booking anything or getting too ahead of myself, as we did previously. But I'm hopeful that we can get something rolling in the first quarter, and work our way back to a normal schedule.
Yeah, there you go, folks. That's the update that you were hoping and looking for here for the AIW Holiday Spectacular.
It's an update that's not an update.
Exactly. But look, we couldn't let all of this go without some sort of wonderful reciting of the holiday classic, The Night Before Christmas. But it's got an AIW and pro wrestling spin. If you're going to have anybody recite this, you're going to have the guy who just recently took a role as an English teacher. Did you know that, John Thorne?
I did not.
Shoot job as an English teacher now. But he's the most theatrical person.
There's a lot to sort through on that social media.
He's the most theatrical person we have probably at AIW, and why not have him do this? Here to recite his own version of The Night Before Christmas, we leave you with Magnum CK.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you like this. If you want this to happen again, we'll see.
'Twas the night before Christmas, written and read by Magnum CK. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and there was a hell of a house. Oh, the bleachers were stirring, and so was my spouse. The t-shirts were folded on the tables with care, in hopes that Saint Magnum soon would be there. The children were waiting all nestled in line, while sports entertainment danced in their mind. And Ma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, waited in line for an overpriced snack. When out from the PA there arose such a clatter, I sprang back to my seat to see what was the matter. Away to the front row I flew like a flash. I knew what was happening was worth more than cash. The theatrical music from the speakers did blare, but where was my family? Oh, I didn't care. When what to my wondering eyes did appear? Slowly through the curtain, Magnum did appear, with a breathtaking cape and the face of a star. Slowly he walked, Magnum wasn't that far. The people around me began chanting his name, and I knew at that moment I'd never be the same. But in front of me now, Magnum stopped right there. Without looking, he reached out and threw my cap in the air. As he moved down the line, oh, how the hats they did rain. There wasn't a person alive who was not sports entertained. Through the ropes, Magnum stepped like a king. No one alive is like him in the ring. Lights bouncing off him, oh, how his cape did spin. No one around would be bored ever again. Magnum sprang to the top, oh, how the fans did whistle, and onto his man he flew like a thistle. But I heard him exclaim before he finished the fight, "Sports entertainment to all, and to all a good night."